Kindly subscribe to my channel and press on bell icon to get more videos. Hi all of you, welcome back to our physics channel, Vinod Papi Shetty. Previously you have learned about reflection of light at curved surfaces in the previous chapter. Now let's continue fourth chapter of SSC Telangana, refraction of light at curved surfaces. With your previous knowledge you may have experienced that you may have observed that some people will read letters by wearing a convex spectacles or a lens in the specs. Similarly, a watch repair person use a magnifying glass to observe the tiny parts in a watch. Then, have you ever happened to touch a magnifying glass? How it appears at the middle, at the edges? Have you ever touched lenses in a spectacles? Are they thick at the middle or thick at the edges? Have you got the difference? Yes. In this chapter, let's recall all those and let me to revise previously what you learned a little bit. That is refraction of light at plane surface. You know that whenever a light ray happen to fall on a boundary separating the two mediums, suppose this is the boundary separating the two mediums, a ray of light happen to fall like this. We used to call this as the incident ray. This point where the incident ray touches is called as point of incidence. If there is no change in the medium, this light ray expected to travel in the same direction. Because of change in the medium, suppose if I draw normal at point of incidence, then angle made by the normal with the incident ray is called as angle of incidence. And we know that when medium is changed, because of velocity light will change. So as velocity light is changing, then path of light ray will be changed. Mean this light ray expected to travel by bending towards the normal like this. And this situation happens when ray of light happen to enter from rarer medium to denser medium. Now based on this, laws of refraction are given. Let me to recall what are the laws of refraction. First one is called as Snell's law. The scientist Snell has given. So on his name it is called as Snell's law. Simply it says that the ratio between sine of angle of incidence to sine of angle of refraction is a constant, and that constant value will be always equals to ratio of refractive index of second medium to first medium, or they simply called as n2 with respect to 1. Reverse to this, if ray of light happen to enter from denser medium to rarer medium, for suppose light ray is entering like this, if there is no change in the medium, it is expected to travel in the same straight line direction. And at the point of incidence, if we draw the normal, will be like this. Now we can observe that the ray of light bends away from normal and used to continue. Means like this. So if we verify here in the first case, rarer to denser, angle of incidence will be greater compared to angle of refraction. I will be greater compared to R, whereas coming to here, I, angle of incidence will be smaller compared to angle of refraction. I will be less compared to R. Suppose if the ray of light happen to enter from any to any medium but along the normal, then we can notice the same situation. That may be denser or rarer, any medium to any medium, but the ray of light is entering along the normal. Then we can observe, then there is no change in its path. May the ray of light falling along the normal will be continued as it is. For these two cases, we can apply Snell's law without any issue, but here Snell's law cannot be applicable. Why? Because if ray of light is entering along the normal, angle of incidence is 0. So if angle of incidence is 0, then here getting angle of refraction also 0. So sine 0 is 0 by sine R also 0. So 0 by 0 is not defined, so that can never be constant. There Snell's law cannot be applied. The thing you have to remember, when ray of light happened enter from rarer medium to denser medium, it bends from its original path towards the normal. Similarly, if ray of light enters from denser medium to rarer medium, it bends away from normal. Ray of enters along the normal, then there is no change in its path. We have to remember these are things which we learned from our previous class. Now let us understand how light undergo refraction when happen to fall on a curved surface. First of all, let's go for such a small activity to understand this. Activity 1. Draw an arrow mark around 4 cm in length with a black pen or sketch on a thick sheet of white paper. Then take a cylindrical glass tumbler which is made with glass in the sense that should be transparent. Keep the glass tumbler on a table. Now ask your friend to keep the sheet on which arrow mark is drawn to keep a side, means back side of the glass tumbler. Now by being at front side, observe the arrow mark. How you can see? You can observe that it forms a diminished image. Is that real image or virtual image? How could this happen to form a diminished size? Is it possible to draw a ray diagram? A ray diagram for this. Now, by being in the same position, ask your friend to fill the tumbler with water slowly without forming any bubble. What do you notice? An inverted image is formed. How it is possible? What may be the reason behind that? Let's go for understanding step by step. Actually, in the first case, imagine this is the circular shape glass tumbler. This side, your friend have kept the arrowhead drawn sheet in his hand, and you are watching from this side. Then the light ray starting from the arrowhead first should enter from air to the glass surface. So once the medium is changed, and this medium is the curved surface, glass at the top view will be circular in shape. So entering from air to glass surface, and from glass surface to entering again into air. This is air. This is made with glass. Again this is air. What is happening? If you imagine this is the circular edge of the glass when seen from top, then first light rays from the arrowhead which your friend is holding at this side, they have to enter from air to the curved surface of the glass. So when medium is changed, the light rays path will change. Again from the glass curved surface to the light ray should enter into the glass which is empty, that means filled with air. Now from air to again they have to enter into glass surface, and by interchanging the medium from glass surface to again air, then when you are observing from this side, that will reach to your eye. As the light is undergoing refraction, one side here curved surface, again one side here curved surface. As they're finally reaching, then you can see when glass is empty, a diminished image. As we are not keeping any screen, that image can be called as virtual image. Whereas in the second case, the same glass tumbler, when it is filled with water, then first light rays from the arrowhead have to enter from air into this glass surface. Air to at this point they have to enter into glass surface. Once medium is changed, path will be changed. From glass surface to they have to enter into the water. Then while coming out from water to glass and again glass to air, they have to enter. Like this, here at different places medium is changing. Finally the image becoming as virtual image. Now suppose if you imagine the refractive index of water as well as the outside surrounding container, both are almost equal. In real, glass water won't have equal refractive index. Suppose a transparent glass is made with a medium which is having almost all same refractive index as that of the water. It means the light should enter from air to a curved surface made with water. Then how the light ray behaves? Let us understand. air, water, crude surface, we can imagine like this. What happens to few light rays falling onto this crude surface means entering from one of the medium to another medium of different refractive indexes, that is air and water. So for example, if we take in the sense few light rays are falling like this, how they have to change their path? Just let us go for imagining. Few light rays are falling like this, then how they change their path and how they will continue. Let me imagine few light rays are falling from one medium to another medium. First of all, for this curved surface, let us understand some terminology. As this side is denser medium and it is the convex shape, this surface can be called as convex denser surface. And this curved surface is a part of a sphere. That sphere will have one center. That center of the sphere from which this curved surface is separated as a part is called as a center of curvature, commonly represented with the C. Center of curvature. And the next, this separated curved surface will have one center. That center of this curved surface can be called as pole and commonly represented with the P. Center of curvature with C and pole with the P. Then next, a straight line passing through pole and center of curvature can be called as a principal axis. Principal axis. Now, if light rays are falling parallel to principal axis, how they should undergo refraction? If you want to know the path of light ray when entering from rarer to denser medium, we know that that should bend towards the normal. So to know the path of light ray, we should know the path of normal. In the sense, we know that from our previous chapter, for curved surface at any point normal drawn, that must pass through center of curvature. Means for this point normal drawn will become like this and it should pass through center of curvature. Like that, normal drawn at different points will be in different direction and that all should pass through center of curvature. Now this has a principal axis, that itself becomes as normal because that is to pass through center of curvature. Now let us discuss. Depending on from which medium to which medium, that is rarer to denser or denser to rarer. If light rays entering from air to water or water to air, then how their path will be. Now we got an idea how to draw the positional number for the incident ray. Now let us study certain behavior of light rays when they are entering either from rare to denser medium or denser to rarer medium. The surface may be convex denser or concave denser. Let us understand the behavior of light ray when it happened to fall on a curved surface entering from one medium to another medium. For example, ray of light enters along the principal axis, means touches the curved surface at this point. Now at this point, if we draw the normal as we discussed, that used to continue along the same path without any change in its direction. In the sense we have discussed, when ray of light happened to enter from rarer medium to denser medium, it bends towards the normal. Denser medium to rarer medium, it bends away from normal. If it is happened to enter along the normal, then there is no change in its path. In the sense, if you imagine one more light ray, suppose falling like this, means that enters along the center of curvature like this. Means that the ray of light happened to enter like this. Then this point becomes as point of incidence. At point of incidence, if we draw the normal, then the path of light ray itself becomes as normal, so that it used to continue without any change in its path. Now, there is no compulsion for the light ray to enter along the normal. It may enter from rarer to denser medium or denser to rarer medium, or the surface may be convex surface or concave surface. Like this, let us imagine or let us understand how the path of light ray will change in 4 different cases. Case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4. Case 1, I am taking that a ray of light is happened to enter onto a convex surface that from rarer to denser medium. Now what may be the path of the light ray? This becomes as a point of incidence. At the point of incidence, if we draw the normal, that must pass through center of curvature. Now as the ray of light is entering from rarer to denser medium, from its original path, it should bend towards the normal, means the path of light ray will be changed like this. After refraction, the light ray will bend towards the principal axis. Now, suppose ray of light enters onto a concave surface, enters from rare to denser medium, parallel to principal axis. Then how it should undergo refraction? Suppose falling like this. Ray of light enters from rarer to denser medium onto a concave surface. Then this point becomes as point of incidence, as this is the curved surface have sphere or central curvature at this side. Now from this point, if it join to the point of incidence, that itself becomes as normal. And as the ray of light is entering from rarer to denser medium, it bends from its original path towards the normal, means the normal direction like this instead of continuing in the same straight line. The next, reverse to this. Suppose ray of light happened to enter from denser medium to rarer medium, parallel to principal axis like this. Every time there is no compulsory to enter from rare to denser, means the ray of light is entering like this the path. Then this becomes point of incidence. If we draw normal at the point of incidence, that must pass through center of curvature. As the light ray is entering from denser medium to rarer medium, it bends away from normal. Means this is the normal path. If there is no change of path, should continue like this. Away from normal means that bends toward the principal axis like this. Similarly, if ray of light happen to enter from denser medium to rarer medium onto concave surface like this, parallel to principal axis, then this point becomes as point of incidence. At the point of incidence, if we draw the normal, that is to pass through center of curvature. Now as the ray of light is entering from denser medium to rarer medium, from its original path, it should bend away from normal. Straight line the path, away from normal means moves like this. So like this we can understand the behavior of a path of light ray when it is entering from one medium to another medium in the case of curved surface. What may be the reason for this all the differences? Sometimes light ray is bending away, moving away, sometimes bending toward the principal axis. In the sense, if you observe carefully, in the case of convex surface, whether the light ray is entering from rarer to denser medium or denser to rarer medium, it is bending toward the principal axis and meeting the axis at one point, or bending toward the principal axis and meeting the principal axis at one point. Whereas coming to this, the light ray in the case of concave surface, whether entering from rarer to denser medium or denser to rarer medium, moving away from principal axis, in the sense if you retrace the path of light ray backward like this, there is a chance for it to meet the principal axis at one point. So this point in the principal axis here, as well as this light ray path also extend back. So this meet the principal axis at one point. So the path of refracted ray which is meeting at one point in the principal axis can be called as focal point in the case of a curved surface. See, remember here only one curved surface we have taken. So this point can be called as focal point for convex surface, or this point can be called as a focal point for concave surface. Again focal point. So now you may have seen that in some shops or at some particular places, they used to keep a yellow color lemon in a glass of water. If you see from outside, from side of the glass, then you can see the lemon appears as big in size. What may be the reason for appearing as big in size? Is that real lemon size increases big, or original lemon only we are seeing as big in size? Can you draw any ray diagram? Is it possible? Let us understand how to guess the size of image as well as position of image. Now let's go for image formation and derivation of curved surface formula. This formula is used to find out relation between object distance, image distance, and refractive index values of first medium, second medium in the case of one curved surface can be called as single curved surface. Let me imagine this is the convex curved surface which is separating the two mediums. One side is medium of refractive index N1 and second side medium of refractive index N2. Let me consider that N1 value is less compared to N2. Means second medium is denser medium, first medium is rarer medium. Let me imagine an object O is located at this point. Now to get the position of image from the object, we have to take two light rays for starting, and after refraction these two light rays where they are meeting, that meeting position can be called as image of this particular object. And in this case I am taking that one light ray starting from the object and that is going along the principal axis. Then pole becomes this point pole, this center of curvature, this pole becomes as point of incidence. At point of incidence, if we draw the normal, that passes through center of curvature. In the sense, incident ray itself becomes as direction of normal. So we know that if a ray of light falls along the normal, then there is no change in its path. Then let me take means it will continue as it is, and let me take one more ray of light which is falling onto the curved surface like this by making some angle with the principal axis. Let me consider this angle as, it is making with the principal axis an angle as alpha. Now this point becomes as point of incidence. At the point of incidence, if we draw the normal, that must pass through center of curvature. Now this is the direction of normal. If there is no change in the medium, the light ray expected to travel in the same straight line. Because of change in the medium, light ray instead of continuing in the same path, it should bend. And that bending is as light rays entering from rarer to denser medium. Second medium is of greater refractive index. So that bends towards the normal means instead of continuing the same straight line path, by bending towards the normal, it is to continue like this. So the two light rays, one is coming in this direction, one more after reaching the curved surface at one point. By changing the direction, it is meeting the principal axis here. Means one light ray like this, one more light ray by coming like this, both are meeting here. So here we can get or we can consider or this gives the position of image. Now let me take this point where the medium is changing as A. The next this incident ray makes an angle alpha with the principal axis, and the refractory ray makes an angle beta with the principal axis, and the normal drawn makes an angle gamma with the principal axis. The next angle between incident ray and this normal is called as angle of incidence. Let me consider that angle of incidence as θ1. Similarly, angle between refractor ray and normal becomes as angle of refraction. Let me consider that as θ2. The next, let me drop a perpendicular from the point of incidence onto the principal axis, and that touches the principal axis at one point. Let me consider that point as N, capital N. If you check the triangle AOC, this C line is this one. So for this line, this θ1 is the exterior angle, which we know that exterior angle is always equal to sum of two opposite interior angles. Means in triangle AOC, θ1 is the exterior angle, so that exterior angle can be written as equal to sum of two opposite interior angles. That is, one is alpha plus second one is gamma. Similarly, if we check triangle ACI, gamma is the exterior angle, that should be equal to sum of two opposite interior angles. Means in triangle ACI, gamma is the exterior angle, that gamma can be written as sum of two opposite interior angles, that is θ2 plus beta. Now from this θ2 can be written as by taking beta this side, that is gamma minus beta. Now let me consider this as equation number 1 and this as equation number 2. Now at the point where the light ray is changing the medium, if apply Snell's law, we know that Snell's law says that ratio of sine of angle of incidence to sine of angle of refraction will be equal to the ratio of second medium by first medium refractive indices. Means from Snell's law we can write sin I by sin R, where in the place of I, θ1 by sine r in the place of r theta 2 is equals light ray is entering from the medium of refracted index n1 to medium of refracted index n2. This can be written as n2 by n1. Now let me substitute theta 1 and theta 2 values by using equation 1 and equation 2. Okay, since from 1 comma 2, if I substitute theta 1 and theta 2 values in this equation, then this equation can be written as sine in the place of theta 1 alpha plus gamma by sine in the place of theta 2 we can add gamma minus beta. That can be written as equals to n2 by n1. Now we know that here the light rays which are falling onto the curved surface, which are making very small angles with the principal axis. In the sense here alpha, beta, gamma, they are the small angles. If those make small angles, in the sense we have to take the light rays are very close to principal axis. The light rays which are very close to principal axis can be called as paraxial rays. In the case of paraxial rays, the angles made by the principal axis by these rays will be very small. So in the case of small angles, we can write sin theta as a theta, as well as theta can be written as tan theta. When angles are very small, we can write sin theta as simply almost equals to theta. In the sense sin alpha plus gamma can be written as alpha plus gamma, sin gamma minus beta can be written as gamma minus beta. So by substituting the same, means alpha plus gamma by gamma minus beta can be written as n2 by n1. Now by the cross multiplication, means this becomes n1 alpha plus n1 gamma is equals to, by taking gamma minus beta that side, that is n2 gamma minus n2 beta. Now let me take gamma terms to one side and beta terms to this side. Means this can be written as n1 alpha minus n2 beta come this side because plus n2 beta, that is equals to n1 gamma that side, already n2 gamma is there. So this can be written as n2 gamma minus n1 gamma. From these two gamma, if I take as common, in the next step this can be written as n1 alpha plus n2 beta, that is equals to, by taking gamma as common, n2 minus n1. Now let me substitute alpha, beta, gamma values. In the case of small angles, alpha can be written as tan alpha, as well as beta can be written as tan beta, gamma can be written as tan gamma. Remember, this is applicable only for small angles. So for small angles we can write alpha can be written as tan alpha. Now see the picture related to tan alpha in the right angle triangle OAN. Tan theta can be written as opposite by adjacent. Here opposite side is AN by adjacent is ON. So this can be written as AN by ON. Similarly, beta can be written as tan beta, which can be written as tan beta is related to right angle triangle IAN. That is given by again opposite side by adjacent side. Opposite is AN by NI. Similarly, gamma can be written as tan gamma, which can be written as gamma is related to right angle triangle CAN. So tan gamma is given by opposite by adjacent. Opposite is AN by NC. Now if I substitute alpha, beta, gamma values in this equation which we got here. Suppose if we take this is equation number 3. Okay. These three I am substituting in equation number 3. By substituting in equation number 3, we can write that n1 into, in the place of alpha, we can write that as AN by ON. Plus in the place of n2, beta can be written as AN by NI. That is equals to gamma. Gamma can be written as AN by NC. into n2 minus n1. Check here. an left side can be taken as common, right side an. So an gets cancelled. By cancellation after an, the remaining we can write this as n1 by on plus n2 by ni or in is equals to an got cancelled, n2 minus n1 by nc. Now here, if light rays makes very small angles, means this height of this one will be very small, or this point A will be here, or further angle makes further small, means here. In the sense, this perpendicular dropped n to p, distance is negligible. So when alpha beta are very small, then the distance between p to n is almost 0. So we can replace with the p almost equal to with n, or n almost with the p. So for small angles, n position will be almost equals to p position. Now if I substitute in the place of these all wherever n with p, means this one can be written as n1 by on or no. No I am writing as po plus n2 by ni can be written as pi. That can be written as n2 minus n1 by nc can be written as pc. Now observe the picture carefully. Here po is the distance from pole to object. That pole to object distance can be written as object distance u. Similarly, pi is nothing but pole to image. Pole to image distance can be written as image distance v. And pc, pole to center of curvature. We know that pole to center of curvature distance can be written as radius of curvature. So if we substitute po as u, pi as v, and pc as r, then this equation can be written as n1 by u plus n2 by v is equals to n2 minus n1 by n2 minus n1 by r. So this will give you relation between object distance and image distance in the case of convex denser surface, in the sense light rays entering from rarer medium to towards denser medium, where the surface is convex at a denser medium side. Here the final formula which we have derived is for a particular case. That case is a convex denser surface, light rays are entering from rarer medium to denser medium. So this formula applicable for this particular case only. Now if you want to get this formula as general formula which can be applied for any case, then in this formula we have to apply sign convention. If you apply sign convention, then the formula obtained will become as a general formula that can be used for any case. Sign convention says mainly about 3 rules. Rule number 1, we have to measure all distances from the pole. This pole we should take as the reference point. Any object distance or image distance or radius of curvature, everything we have to measure from pole. That is the starting point. The next, the distances measured in the direction of incident light ray are taken as positive and against to it are negative. See here we are taking the incident light ray from object to towards curved surface, light rays are falling. So any distance is measured in that direction, means as per this picture, left to right light rays are going. Any measurement from pole towards right taken are positive and towards left are taken as negative. Towards right are in the direction of light ray and towards left from pole are against to light ray. Those to be taken as negative. The next, if you want to measure height of object or height of image, then heights above principal axis are taken as positive and heights measured below principal axis are taken as negative. Now according to sign convention, how these values used to be? Remember, refractive index is a constant that won't have any sign convention. Only object distance or image distance or radius of curvature. Along with that, if any focal length and height of object or height of image. For these only we have to apply sign convention. Now according to sign convention rules, here n2 by v, we got this formula for a particular case. That case is nothing but object placed in front of a convex surface, light rays entering from rarer medium to denser medium. n1 is a small value compared to n2. In this case we got this situation. From that situation to get a formula which can be used for every situation. According to these rules for sign convention, we have to get a formula. That formula will become a generalized formula, can be used for any other case. Now if you want to get generalized formula, let me apply sign convention. n to n1 are the constant values. For that there is no sign convention. Coming to v, image distance v. Image distance we have to measure from pole to towards image. That is right side we are measuring in the direction of light rays. So image distance becomes as plus v. Next coming to u is the object distance. Object distance is measured from pole to towards object. So we have to measure against the incident light rays. So u becomes as minus. Then coming to radius of curvature. Radius of curvature is measured from pole to center of curvature. That we are measuring in the direction of light rays. So that r becomes a positive plus r. Now by substituting v as positive as it is, u negative, r as positive in this above equation. Then the formula obtained will become a general formula. Then what will be the general formula? If I substitute, this becomes a n2 as it is by v is positive, no issue. And n1 by u is negative, that plus into minus becomes as minus. First one I am keeping minus. This becomes a n1 by u, that is equals to n2 minus n1 by radius of curvature is positive r. So this formula is called as general formula, and this general formula can be used for any other case. So this formula is called as finally the curved surface formula for any type of curved surface which we can use in solving the numericals. And in this formula, one thing you have to remember. Suppose surface having this radius of curvature very big. In the sense, this surface is plane surface. In the case of plane surface, as radius is becoming is almost infinity, means this surface is straight surface. Okay. For plane surface, r reaches to infinity. When r is reaching to infinity, means very big. Then in that case, this formula can be written as n2 by v minus n1 by u is equals to n2 minus n1 by r is infinity. As we know that something by infinity is 0. Something by infinity is 0. So this formula will be changed as n2 by v minus n1 by u is equals to 0. Or from this we can write that n2 by v is equals to n1 by u. This is the formula which we have to use for in the case of plane surface. Now here I am keeping a box. Remember, based on this formula there used to be some numericals for us. Means how to use in the case of plane surface. Let us go with some example numericals. One example problem. Let us take a question like this. A bird is flying down vertically toward the surface of water. Bird flying down vertically toward the surface of water in a pond with a constant speed. So bird is flying down with constant speed, means speed is not increasing, not decreasing. Bird has to reach from the surface from certain height to surface of water. Now there is a fish inside the water. A fish is there inside the water. If the fish is exactly vertically below the bird, wherever the bird, exactly down the fish is located. Now, then the bird will appear to the fish to be. This bird, how it will appear for the fish? Means bird is the object, fish is the observer, this fish is watching the bird. Where the bird will appear? Possibilities. Farther away than its actual distance. I am assuming that the bird is located from the surface of at a height x. Will it appear at a height above x or closer than its actual distance? Will it appear at a distance less than that of x, means below to its original position? Similarly, if it is moving or if it is flying vertically downward, then with some speed, is the speed moving faster than its actual speed? Means when fish is watching, is the bird appear that as traveling faster than its original speed or moving slower than its actual speed? These are the things asked. Now let's go one by one. How it appears, what the speed, okay, as a solution. As I told, let me assume height of the bird from the surface of x is, surface of water is x. Now according to this, If fish want to see the bird, bird is the object, fish is the observer. Few light rays starting from the bird should reach to fish. Means a light ray starting from the bird, if it happened to reach to eye of the fish or fish, then it can be observed. Let me imagine one light ray starting along the normal, then it will continue without any deviation to reach to next medium. So in that case, this becomes as the pole which is separating the two media, and this surface is plane surface. We know that just now we discussed, for plane surface we can write a curved surface formula, that is N2 by V is equals to N1 by U. Here N1 is the first medium from which to light rays are expected to enter into second medium, that is N2. So N1 as here is a medium above the surface of water, that is air. So for air we know refractive index is 1. Let me assume what is having, means the second medium, what is having a refractive index as N. The next, as this point is the pole, every measurement related to object distance, image distance we have to make from pole. So from pole to till this object, as the board becomes as object for us. Okay, here fish becomes observer. Now, as the board is the object, light is starting from the object towards downward. So any measurement downward should be taken as positive. But here object distance we have to take from pole to towards the object, means against the light rays. So in that case U becomes as negative, and the negative distance we took as X. The next image, where the bird's image happens or forms, that may be below this actual position or above this actual position. We don't know where the image forms. So as the distance is unknown, I am assuming the distance as y, that y unknown. So as this value is unknown, better don't apply any sign convention. Or if you are having a clarity that it forms this side or that side, then in that case you should apply sign convention. Here let me assume temporarily I don't know which side image forms. By the calculation, suppose y value got as positive. Positive means from the pole in the direction of light ray should measure, means image appears below the surface of water. Or if I got y value as negative, negative means against the light rays, means bird's image is formed above the surface of water. At what distance? Let me go for calculation. Now let me substitute N1 into UV values in this equation. That is N2 is N by V is Y, which I need to calculate. That is equals to N1 is 1 for air by U is X, but that is minus X. Now by the cross multiplication Y is equals to minus X into N. Means we can write Y is equals to minus N into X. Now see here Y value is negative. What is means negative? Negative says that image distance used to be above principal axis or against the light rays we have to measure. Means image is formed in the air medium only. Now is the distance is greater than X or less than X? As we know that for water, refractive index of water is 4 by 3, that is greater than 1. So if refractive index is greater than 1, then we can write that Y is equals to minus Nx, that value is greater than X, because N value greater than minus X. N value is greater than 1. As it is greater than 1 into X will become greater than X. So as Y value is greater than X, means image distance will be greater than X, means above the bird's vertical position, bird's image is formed. In the sense we can expect image of the bird is formed above the vertical position of bird. Or the same which we can prove by drawing a ray diagram. Ray diagram in the sense, as we know that if we want to get the position of image from object to light rays starting, and as per the rules for refraction they have to undergo refraction, and after refraction where they are meeting, that meeting position is called position of image. So from the object I am taking one light ray coming like this, and one more light ray entering from air to water, that is rarer to denser medium. We know that when ray of light enters from rare to denser medium, from its original path it should bend towards the normal. So if it bends towards the normal, the path of light ray will be, by changing a little bit, will be like this. Means the light rays which are starting from this bird, after refraction reaching like this, to the fish. So these light rays will diverging in this direction. They will never meet in this direction. So if you retrace their path backward, one is like this. This light ray path I am retracing backward, as well as this path of refracted light ray I am retracing backward, where they are appearing that at the starting. That point can be called as a position of image of the bird. So here those are meeting. So we can expect a bird image is formed here. So this bird image distance only, which we can call as y. So here the y is greater than x very clearly. So this distance becomes as y for us here. So with ray diagram we can prove, as well as with the mathematical calculation also we can prove. The next, so out of 4 options, we got clearly farther away than its actual distance is true. Means bird's image will appear at a distance more than bird as the object. Then is coming to, as option A is right, then definitely option B should be wrong. Then what about C and D? Means is the bird appear that moving faster than its original speed or moving slower than its original speed? Simply remember one thing. Whenever bird flies from the surface, means from the certain height x, from this distance to the surface of water, during the same time bird image runs from this position to the surface of water. Means how much time the bird is taking to reach the surface of water. In the same time bird image also should take or should reach to the surface of water. So times taken are same, but original bird is traveling less distance and bird's image is traveling more distance. The one which is traveling more distance in the given time commonly traveling faster. It means image of bird is reaching up to this much distance in the given time, whereas in the same time bird is reaching to this distance. Means bird's image is traveling more distance, means image is traveling faster than the original bird. So image of the bird is moving faster than its actual speed is true, and moving slower than its actual speed is false. Now based on this case, try to get, suppose if bird is the observer watching the position of fish, where the fish appears, or if fish is swimming vertically upward with some speed, if the fish speed appears as same or the slower than its original speed, as far than its original speed, or the fish appears at the same depth or more than its original depth or less than its original depth. Once try by following the same process, you can get the required answer is fish appears at a lesser depth than its original depth, as well as the fish appears that swimming slowly upward than its actual speed. This is about example 1. Example 2. Suppose a case given like this. A transparent sphere of radius capital R. This is the sphere having the radius of curvature as capital R. And refractive index is N. Means this sphere is made with a material which is having a refractive index N. Let me write in the down. This sphere is having a refractive index N. Now, he is asking is kept in air, means outside medium is air, this side and that side. So, air medium, and this made with a material of refractive index N and transparent sphere. Now, at what distance from the surface of the sphere? From the surface of sphere, maybe this side surface, this side surface. At what distance from the surface of sphere? They are asking a point object to be placed on the principal axis. See, this line, red one, can be called as principal axis. From the surface of sphere, at what distance on the principal axis? Let us take left hand surface. A point object to be placed on the principal axis so as to form a real image at the same distance from the second surface of the sphere. In the sense, from the first surface of the sphere, suppose let me take an object is located at certain distance x. There is a point object I am taking O as the object, and its distance approximately I have taken that as x. Now at the second surface of the sphere, at the same distance they want to have image. Okay. Now if this distance is x, is the object distance, then at the same distance x again they want to form image. So there a real image want to be formed. Then what should be the x that is asked? Now this is the question given. Let us go for solution for this. to get the position of image, as just now we have discussed, from the position of object we have to take two light rays. Then after refraction, those two light rays where they are meeting, then the meeting position is called as position of image. So from this object to position, I am taking a ray of light is falling along the principal axis. We know that a ray of light passing along the principal axis does not undergo any deviation or will continue as it is. Means the path of red color line itself becomes as path of refracted ray. Means the light ray here once medium is changed at this point, and again once medium is changed. As the light ray is passing along the normal, as passing through central curvature, then there is no change in its path that will lead to image I position. Now one more light ray I am imagining that as is falling onto the curved surface like this, touching the surface at one of the point at this point. Now if you want to get this point as the image, this point distance, if it is exactly same as the object distance, then definitely at whichever the height this surface it is touching, from same height the light ray should come out. Same height in the sense at this point, in the sense the light ray should come out from this point, so that it should show symmetry for the sphere left side and right side. So these light rays after meeting at this point will give you position of image. It means the light ray inside the sphere by coming from this point to this point should reach. In the sense light ray will travel inside the sphere parallel to principal axis. If you understand this point enough, then we can get the required calculation. Once again check Nana. If rays of light one is traveling along the principal axis, should continue as it is. One more ray of light traveling like this, then after refraction it should change its path in such a way that inside the sphere if it travels parallel to principal axis, means the first light ray, second light ray, both are being parallel to each other after entering into the second medium of refractness n into the sphere. Then again while emitting out the sphere at whichever the height it is touching, at the same height it should come out, so that by undergoing the change in its path, means however the way it went up, the same way if it comes down, then only there is a chance to meet the light ray at the same distance x as that of object which is at a distance x. Now let us understand refraction happening at the first curved surface. Okay, for the first curved surface, first medium n1 is air, that is 1. That air have refractive index as 1. The next n2 they have given for sphere of refractive index n. So n2 is n because it is sphere. The next object distance, according to sign convention, light rays are falling to the right side. This point becomes as pole. We have to measure left side. So u becomes as minus x. And for this curved surface, light rays after refraction, this and this both are going parallel. So inside the sphere is continued for till the end. Then light rays are parallel. So if light rays are parallel, then image expected to form at infinity. So parallel rays will meet at infinity distance. Now let us substitute these the values n1, n2, u and v values, and radius of curvature is to be measured from pole to till center curvature, that we are measuring in the direction of light rays. So we can say r as a positive. Now if I substitute these all the values in the curved surface formula, that is n2 by v minus n1 by u is equals to n2 minus n1 by r. In this if I substitute one by one values, here n2 value is n by v is the image distance that which we got as infinity, minus n1 is 1 by u is minus x, that is equals to n2 minus n1. n2 is n, n1 is 1 by radius of curvature is r. Now we know that something by infinity becomes as 0 because 1 is divided to infinity parts. Each part how much means that is 0. So that this relation becomes as something by infinity is 0, minus into minus becomes plus 1 by x is equals to n2 minus 1 by r, n minus 1 by r. Here we need to find actually what is this x value, because they are asking at what distance a point object to be placed to form image at the same distance second side as that of the object at first side. So if I write one more step, then 1 by x becomes as n minus 1 by r. From this, by reversing the ratio, we can write x as this also to be reversed, r by n minus 1. So this becomes the image distance where object to be placed, for which image distance is same as that of the object. Means object to be placed at a distance x, which is given by r, radius of curvature, by n minus 1, refractive index of glass sphere or transparent sphere, minus 1. So this will give you the answer. The only one thing you have to remember, that at curved surface the light ray should go parallel to the principal axis, so at the same distance image is formed. Now let's go for one more example problem. Example 3. Suppose given like this: a transparent, means made with glass sphere, has a small and opaque dot at its center. See, this is a transparent glass sphere. At its center there is a small dot, opaque means visible clearly. Now he is asking, does the apparent position of the dot appear to be the same as its actual position when observed from outside? Means I am being from outside. This is the glass having some refractive index 1.5 or something. I am being outside of the glass and I am observing the position of dot. Actually this dot is at the center in real. Now if I see from outside, will it appear at the same position, or its position appears that axis changed when seen from outside? Let us go for its calculation as mathematically as well as by drawing ray diagram. In both the methods, let us verify. So solution. Here remember, if one want to see the position of dot by being outside, then few light rays starting from the dot should reach to a person outside the glass dot or glass sphere. So that let me draw two light rays starting from this dot and expected to come out. Means I am considering one ray of light starting like this, and one more ray of light started to come out like this. As this light ray is coming along the principal axis, we know that there is no change in its path temporarily, which we know. Now let me discuss about this one more light ray in the last. So anyway, light ray, this is the object for us. Dot is object, where it appears when seen from outside, that which we need to go for calculation. Now for calculating of that, this point becomes as pole and light rays are entering towards left. So any measurement towards left is taken as positive, towards right is taken as negative. Here object is located from the pole at a distance equals to radius of curvature. So therefore we can write that u is equals to r, but according to sign convention, from pole to this object we have to measure as the distance that is against the light rays which we are measuring. So u becomes as minus r. Now let me go for finding what is v value. If suppose vi got as positive, then image of the dot appears out of the sphere. Vi got as negative, from the pole to against the light rays we have to measure. What is that v? I don't know. Let me go for calculation. First medium is sphere medium and second medium is outside air medium. So n1 becomes as, suppose n, for sphere I am taking as n. I don't know what is that n value, whatever may be the n value. The next n2 becomes as outside medium. We know that outside medium is air. So for air, refractive index is 1. Now let me substitute this in the single curved surface formula, which says that n2 by v minus n1 by u is equals to n2 minus n1 by r. n2 is 1 by v, which how to find, minus n1 is n by u is minus r. That is equals to n2 is 1 minus n1 is n by r is minus r. Or one more step, I can write this as 1 by v, minus into minus becomes as plus n by r. That is equals to 1 minus n by minus r. If I take minus as upward, then that becomes minus n plus minus 1 plus n by r. Now our aim is to find v. So to find v, this n by r, let me take that side. From this 1 by v can be written as minus 1 plus n by r and this plus n by r goes that side, becomes minus n by r. Now for these two terms, Kepler becomes as LCM. So 1 by v can be written as by Kepler is the LCM, minus n minus 1 plus n, this minus n. Minus n plus n gets cancelled. So from this we can get 1 by v is equals to minus 1 by r. Or from this we can say that v is equals to minus r. Now image distance is equals to radius of curvature, and sign negative. Negative means against the light rays which how to measure. This is the pole. In the direction of light rays means this side. Against the light rays means that side. So from the pole at a distance against the light rays means against the center of curvature image forms. In the sense wherever the object, there only image is forming. In the sense the position of dot appears to be the same as its original position. Now the same if we discuss with a ray diagram. Simply one ray of light starting along the principal axis continue without any deviation, that which you know. And one more ray of light, as I told, suppose starting like this. This point becomes as point of incidence. At the point of incidence, if we draw the normal, that must pass through this center of curvature. Means the incident ray itself becoming as normal. If incident ray itself becomes as normal, then the ray of light continues without any deviation, even though medium is changing. So the two light rays which are starting from the object, they will continue to diverge without any change in its path. If the light rays are diverging, then they will never meet. If you retrace their path back, those are appearing that as they are starting from this point. So that point only becomes as position of image. It means object at center of curvature, even though image forms again at center of curvature, there is no change in the position of image. This is about single curved surface. Suppose the surface is having, instead of single curved surface, both sides curved surfaces, then how the refraction takes place, that can be called as double curved surface, or there is a special name given for that can be called as a lens. Now let us understand about how refraction happens in the case of lenses. Kindly subscribe to my channel and press on bell icon.